We're really excited to announce we are making a brand new children's
Iggy, what are you doing?
Sorry, I was just getting ready for the big announcement. The treehouse isn't gonna build itself. Did you tell him yet? Did you?
No, we haven't told him yet. Would you just like to tell him yourself, Iggy?
What, little old me? Tell everyone one of the most amazing, most important, most groundbreaking announcements ever recorded in the history of the world? That's a lot of pressure. What if I mess up? There are probably millions of people watching me right now.
You can do it, Iggy. I believe in you.
Okay, here it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and squirrels. We're teaming up with Brave Books to make, drumroll please, a kids' TV show called Adventures with Iggy and Mr. Kirk. Yay!
Reminds me of my childhood when you could turn on shows. Well, my mom, if I'd stayed home sick from school, she could just turn on shows, a cartoon channel, and walk out of the room and just know that I'll probably learn values and things from it. It's honestly, it made me kind of sad. I'm thrilled it's there, but it made me sad remembering a different time. Joining me now, obviously the man, the host of that, Kirk Cameron doesn't need me to introduce him, the host of the news show, Adventures with Iggy and Mr. Kirk. Kirk, I know that's a weird way to introduce you in the show, but honestly, watching it, it made me long for a time that's not that ancient. I'm not 80. It made me long for my childhood when I could watch something like that.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. We used to watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and so many great cartoons, and it's those things are like a thing of the past. You look at Coco Melon, you look at Sesame Street, you look at Blue's Clues, and they've gone so woke that we have an increase in New Jersey of over 4,000% of children who are identifying as non-binary in the last couple of years. I mean, just nuts, because they're identifying with these characters. It was funny, the thing that came to my mind when you said you remember the times when you were at home with your mom and you're watching a TV show, and now we live in a day that's so different. I know, it's like partly because of the stories that we're showing our kids and reading to our kids. We have kids who grow up and now they're 30 and 40 years old, still at home with their mom, watching TV shows and playing video games on the couch in the living room. And I think it has a lot to do with the values that we're putting into our children at a young age. It's been going on for a long time. It's time that we pull back the reins and take hold of our children's future. That's what we're trying to do with this new show that combines biblical moral values with timeless lessons that parents can trust in an entertaining format with animation, high energy, hilarious dialogue, and guest stars at every turn. I think it's going to be a game changer.
I think it is too, and I treasure this so much for young families out there. Kirk, I get emails to this show, my radio show, all the time of, Jesse, I can't watch anything with my kids. People don't even turn on their TV. One family emailed me last week, they threw out their TV. They said, I can't turn on anything with my kids. What's the point of even having it?
If we chucked our, look, I make my living a career in television, but if we chucked our TVs out the window, that could be the best thing that we ever do. If we could take our phones and get rid of them, in many ways, we would be so much healthier. Now, I'm not recommending it. I use my phone every day, all of that stuff. However, we have technology and abilities that we don't have the moral capacity to handle as a society. And I don't think that means get rid of technology. It means increase your moral capacity. Understand what's important and right, especially when we have sacred duty as parents and grandparents, and train ourselves and our children how to stick with the values and principles that are going to lead to blessing and liberty and protection. Otherwise, it's going down the toilet and it's nobody's fault but ours.
Kirk, before I actually ask you about that in particular, I know everyone wants to know, first of all, how can people watch this now? There are so many young families who watch this show. Yeah. How do they watch this? They want entertainment like this. What do they have to do?
So to watch Adventures with Iggy and Mr. Kirk, you just need to know that it's going to be free. It's coming out on YouTube. It's coming out on Rumble. It's not going to be hard to find. What we're doing is we're actually making the show now, and we're building an army of people that are helping us make it happen. So because it's not being funded by Hollywood or Netflix or some big streaming platform, we have to raise the money ourselves to create this, kind of like The Chosen did, right? You don't want Sony to make The Chosen or you don't want some big company tied to BlackRock and Vanguard to make the show because it's likely going to sabotage the values. So they had the audience chip in the dollars to make it so that it can stay in the hands of the people who care. So we're asking people through Brave Books to join this fundraiser and help us raise the money for 20 episodes of this free television program. We've got enough funding for almost 2 episodes now, and you can go to watchbrave.com. That's watchbrave.com, and you can support us and get in on some of these great rewards, like getting 2 tickets to the red carpet premiere of Adventures with Iggy and Mr. Kirk in Nashville, and we got a really cool after party where you can hang out with us and ask all kinds of questions and celebrate. You can also get one of your kids or grandkids in one of the episodes of the television program. So there's all kinds of great rewards, but we need to raise the funds for it, and that's what Brave Books is doing, and I'm leaning in and doing my part as Mr. Kirk and getting the word out right now.
Yeah, I'm in. I'll be making a donation about the time that we hang up from this interview. 100% in. Kirk, social media, the phones you brought up, the technology, the endless wave of filth that comes at us these days from so many different ways that you and I didn't have to deal with, honestly, when we were younger. How does a young family, a Christian family, you want to raise your children with their eyes focused on the right things, how do you deal with the balance? Because I understand, honestly, that you can move to the mountains and cut off all electricity, and you can honestly live a much more pure life, but we can't pull ourselves out of society that's full of darkness anyway. We have to be in it. So what's the balance? What do you do as a parent with your children?
Yeah, I'm learning this as I go. I'm going to be a grandfather soon, and things are worse now than they were when my kids were little and we gave them phones. No. I even made a documentary about this, but things are changing so rapidly. So I'm not an expert in it, but what I do know is this. There is nothing in the world that will replace a mom and dad and grandparents' time invested connecting with your children and establishing a real relationship with them that is built on love and grace. Your kids are going to mess up with the phones. As long as there's technology out there, they're going to find a way to access porn, or they're going to access people or friends who have a phone who do have inappropriate stuff on there and go down rabbit holes that is likely going to be inevitable unless you're Amish and you live, in a walled off community and you're not having access to that. Even then, I still think they're going to get access to it. So what do? Understand that living in relationship with God and setting an example for your kids that is genuine and sincere, letting them know that you struggle with the same things they struggle with, and that we're all learning together, and we have a hope, we have a North Star, we have an anchor for our souls that can give us power to rise up above these things, and give them a hunger and thirst for what is good and true and beautiful and right, by letting them see how that in you produces a superior way of living. And as you stay in relationship with them, teach them how to use the phone, teach them how to use the computer, get all of the locks and the controls that you can put on there to protect them. We've got to do all of that. But in the end, I don't think there's a quick fix. I think it has to do with relationship, has to do with genuine, authentic living and teaching them the truth so that they love it. Because what they really need is they need to download a filter that is much stronger than anything Google or Apple can provide. It's called the fear of the Lord and a love for righteousness and goodness and beauty and truth. Once they have that, they'll filter the stuff out themselves like a good, mature, God-fearing adult can do. That's what we're ultimately shooting for, because when they turn 18, all the filters come off anyway. They got to be able to handle all this stuff on their own with internal filters. You're putting your kids together to give them away. So start training them now. Put the controls on and slowly start taking them off as you transition responsibility to them.